Alright, so now we're on chapter 11 stuff, which is problem number 43. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this 1/3 and we're going to put it both to these different parts of the parentheses. So when we do 27 to the 1/3 in your calculator, make sure the 1/3 is in parentheses, and you will find out it comes out to be an even 3. When you have a to the 6th to the 1/3, you multiply these two numbers together. So 6 times 1/3 equals 2. So we wind up with 3a squared. For part B, we have the 6th root of 8x to the 12th. Now this part, the easy part, is the x's, because what we have here is we have two groups of 6, which means we have x squared on the outside. Now when breaking down 8, we have 4 times 2 and 2 times 2, which means on the inside we have x to the 3rd. Now because the 3 and the 6 have something in common, why did I change that to an x? It should be a 2. They both have a 3 in common. So when we reduce it, we get a little 2 on the outside, but we really don't need the 2 because it's already in the square root. And the 3 becomes a 1, but we really don't need that because 2 to the 1st is just the same thing as 2. So for this problem, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both sides and I'm going to multiply them by 8 to get rid of the 8 here. So I got the square root of x to the 5th equals 32. Now there's two ways to do this. Probably the way that you'd understand it the best is to get rid of a square root. We would square both sides. So 32 squared 1024 equals x to the 5th. Now you can take both sides to the 1/5 power or to the 5th root. 1/5 power is probably easier to do in your calculator as long as you make sure your 1/5 is in parentheses. And when we do this, we find out that x is equal to 4. 45 says that a car depreciates or loses value 20% every year, which means that we're going to have 1 minus r inside here. This is the formula we're going to use. So in this case, the r is 20%, so I'm going to write it in as 0.2. And we're going to have it for 2 years, so I'm going to put a time of 2 up here. And a turns out to be 20,000. So if we just plug this in, the calculator will tell us how much our car is worth after 2 years. And so we wind up with 12,800. '46 has us doing something continuously, which means we have y equals PE to the RT. Anytime something's compounded continuously, we always use the one that has the E. So we got $5,000. 5.8% is 0.058, because you can either divide that by 100 or simply move the decimal place over twice. And we have this for 15 years. Once again, we don't have to solve anything because everything is on the right-hand side of the equation. And it turns out the amount of money we'll have is $11,934.55. If we're doing log base 8 of 512, all we have to do is change the base formula. So we got log of 512 divided by log of 8. And it turns out to be a nice even 3 this time around. In problem number 48, they have log base 1/2 of x equals 4. I'm going to rewrite this in exponential form so it will be easy for us to solve it. Now when I do 1/2 to the 4th power, I want the 1/2 in parentheses, although it probably doesn't matter for this one. And I want my answer as a fraction. And we would get 1/16, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. When we got the log of 0.014, we have negative 1.85. Number 50, when we have the log of 49 of 343, we do the log of 343 divided by the log of 49. And remember, when you're doing this, don't forget the end parenthesis after the 343. And you'll get the answer of 1.5. Okay, we love the problems like the natural log of 980, because all we have to do is plug in the natural log of 980, and it will tell us the answer is 6.88, or actually 6.89 if I round properly. Either 2x equals 6.8, get rid of an e, ln and e will cancel each other out. The natural log of 66.8 is 1.91. Now I'm just going to take the calculator and divide by the answer, or the answer divided by 2, and x equals 0.96. Problem number 53. Find the time it takes to require if we compound continuously. Well, I always start out with my $1 that I have. The rate is 6.23%. And if I double my $1, eventually I will have $2. So I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. And then the fortunate part for this is that the natural log and the e will cancel each other out. And then I can just divide by 0.063, 0.0623. And so the natural log of 2 divided by the natural by, remember to end the parenthesis, divided by 0.0623 equals 11.1. 54 has been taken off the test. The problems that look like that, so we are going to end right here.